This is Driving Solutions, exclusively on CPTnews.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining us on another edition of Driving Solutions right here at CPTnews.com. Metrics matter, and having the right tools can make all the difference. Today, we are joined by, back in the studio, I should say, joined by Todd Katcher, who's the managing partner of Digital Dealership Systems. This is a company you've heard a lot about. You're going to hear some great things today from Todd. We're excited to catch up with him, but to talk about some of the tools that are now offered through your company, Todd, that you've put together. We talked a little bit before we got recording today. Every time I meet up with you, I'm blown away that you don't have 18,000 dealers on your program, right? As a former dealer, the stuff you're telling me, I'm like, this is a absolute no-brainer. But talk to us about some of the systems. You've recently launched a leaderboard system for fixed, sales, and BDC departments called PULSE.
Yep.
And I've heard a lot about it, a lot of good things about it, so I want to get it right from the horse's mouth. Tell us about PULSE.
Well, thanks for having me again.
Sure.
It's great to see you. I think PULSE is we rebranded PULSE, our systems, our KPI leaderboards as PULSE in order to go ahead and create a comprehensive solution for stores. We're the only digital sign provider, or only provider in general, that goes ahead and offers reports on screens that are staff-facing screens from managers and staff, so they know where they are at all times.
Right.
And then also on the desktop for advanced reporting, and then on mobile. So the staff can go ahead and log in, and they can see how they're performing in significant detail, including get alerts of how they're performing compared to their counterparts, as well as being able.
So if I'm a salesperson, I can have an app and it'll take it right to the phone?
Yep, it goes right to the phone. They receive notifications when any sales are made in the store. They could also log in and see how they're performing comparing to their others. They know where they're ranking, they know where they're trending, they know where their goals are, they know where all their information.
Right.
And it has historical information in there as well. They could drill down to the deal level to see, oh, I was supposed to get a full credit on this deal and I only got half, or what the status is of a deal.
Sure.
A lot of dealers don't get paid, a lot of the staff don't get paid until it's finalized.
That's right.
So if it's been delivered, and they could look in the system and say, I haven't been paid.
Right.
Well, they could go ahead and look and see, and maybe they could help out the finance department.
That's right. Many times they can, because there might be a contract's in transit and maybe the bank's waiting on some kind of proof of income or whatever the case might be, and the salesperson doesn't even know about it.
That's right. So now they can control their money a lot more in a lot of different ways, because they know their goals, they know where they stand. They also get alerts of how the store is performing, so it becomes more of a team effort as well. And then they also have the screen. So you've been in many dealerships, so they all have some sort of dry erase board. I know. Sometimes they use the glass,
or the glass, the window,
all these different things, right? And they're still using it today.
It's unbelievable.
They've been using it since the 70s.
43 years ago in 1980, which was everybody's looking at everyone's program, and the colored box was only filled in halfway. It was a half a deal, and they're still using that today.
They are still using that, and so our system modernizes that, and so that way it shows the valuable reports to the staff, but in all three departments. So in fixed for service advisors as well as for techs. And it updates every 15 minutes. We're in the BDC department, we have it showing their activities, and then in sales, we're showing their trends, we're showing gross, we're showing numbers, and then managers can select what reports they want on the screen. But then all the reports are also available on the desktop. And then we also have store-wide reporting on the desktop, so they can manage their store more effectively on the desktop.
Nice.
So those three components, actually going out to those three parts of the store, help dealerships know their business. And we've had a lot of general managers or platform managers that have a board in their office that show how each individual store is performing.
I would definitely have a board in my office if I was running that deal. Seriously, I mean, even if I had more than 2 stores, I would have that board and live based on the results of that board in real time every single day. How many times do we finish a month and look at the dealer statement and go, oh my God, I can't believe that we were off by 8% in a particular area. I wish I knew that on the 15th of the month rather than the 31st of the month, right?
Yeah, and putting that control on the customer, in the staff member's hands, right? So you set your goals for your staff, how many cars you're supposed to sell, how your dollar per RO on the fixed side, or maybe your efficiency or effective labor rate, wherever your bonuses are for your team. You could set goals within our system, and then they know throughout the day or throughout the week or throughout the month where they're trending and what their numbers are. So a lot of dealers that we talk to dealers every day. I do about somewhere between 5 to 10 presentations a day. And so when doing those presentations, I'm talking to a lot of different dealers, and one of the biggest questions, how do you track currently? I'd say about 75 to 80% of them have a printed report that they go over at the end of every week of the previous week.
Right. So it's all historical data that they're looking at. It's not in real time. It wasn't 15 minutes ago. Right. So because some of those things could have been changed by then.
Correct.
And that therein lies the problem. Dealers today, managers today, they want to fix this thing in real time. They want to be able to go downstairs, right? Have a quick discussion and go, look, I hear the numbers. We got to change this.
Yeah, we've actually had some requests from dealers, and we've made these reports that say, what are your numbers today? So like today versus month to date versus your trend versus a 90-day average, and then we compare that together. So we're looking at, dealers have requested these reports for sales and fixed and BDC is, what's your performance today versus what your performance is on your 90-day average per day to see whether you're not moving up or down. So a good manager looks at that report and says, Billy, your normal average per day is, let's say, 30 or 40 or 50 calls as a BDC rep, and today you're at 20, what's going on?
That's right.
But you could do it today. So that way you're not waiting until the end of the month, and Billy's not upset because they didn't meet their bonus, because it's not retroactive. It's handling that at the day. So you're really understanding what's going on in your dealership, and then you're putting that control in the staff members' hands as well.
And Billy knows that all of his counterparts at the dealership are looking at those numbers, right?
Exactly.
They know that Billy's off on making the calls or off on gross profit or off in any of those important areas. So just the competition kicks in among your team that goes, hey, I don't want to be low man. I don't want to be in the bottom half of this team. I got to be on the screen. I got to be in the top half of this screen, right?
Yep. And so Pulse is a great tool for every dealership to use. It's reasonably priced. There are other tools in the marketplace, but those tools are really sophisticated tools that are extremely expensive, 5 times or more how much we charge for our systems.
Wow.
But they don't motivate the staff. And they're not on screens replacing the dry erase boards. We had to talk to a fixed ops director of 10 stores, and he spends about 2 hours per store per week updating the system. Well, that's 20 hours.
Oh my God.
So the idea that he's spending 20 hours, half a day, once a week, updating the boards. Well, he uses Google Sheets to update the board. So he's but he's only updating it once a week. But then he's taking half a day to do it.
Of course, put a dollar number to that.
Even if he does it once a day for each store, it's taking him out of his other duties that he could be performing for a minimal cost. And these other tools are really great, but they're meant for an owner or a large group, or like the managers of the stores to know how they're doing from a really analytical perspective.
And just to be clear, these are manager-facing boards. So for dealerships that are going, well, I don't want my consumers to come in, or my customers rather, and see what kind of gross or where people stand that deep. Right, because we've been putting the numbers up there in terms of unit bonuses, right? And salespeople would often brag or what have you, or if I'm a customer and I'm coming in and they see those units on the board, I don't know that I want Tommy, who's the #1 salesperson, right? Because right away I'm intimidated.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that dealers have handled it. We have one of the top Chrysler stores on Long Island. In New York, actually, they're #5 in all of New York, and they have their board out on the right on the showroom floor. And that's where their sales tower is, and right behind their sales towers on a big 70-inch TV is our system. But they pick and choose the reports they want. So depending on where, now at another store, we have one on the showroom floor and one in a manager's office. So the manager has all the numbers at its private office
so you
that
can
only
really,
they see. So they can
cool.
choose the reports they want on the screen, but all those reports are also available on the desktop and can be shared securely internally. So you pick and choose. So our sales leaderboard has over 40 reports built into it that can be pushed to a screen. Most dealers have 5 to 8 reports that are on the actual screen, which is much different than what those other details that you're referring to. Most of them won't put gross on the screen.
Of course.
But they will put their units. They will put what we call KPI reports in our system. They will put their store goals in the system.
Maybe even calls, a number of calls, or maybe a show.
If they're doing that type of stuff, their appointments for the day. Those types of things. They also will put their CSI numbers and things like that, because that helps. Those reports that they want the staff to see and be reminded of on a regular basis. Remember that most stores have that leaderboard. So we're replacing that with digital. So they just pick and choose what they don't put where customers are going to walk into a sales manager's office. They're not going to put numbers on there that weren't there before. They're going to put in the numbers that are trending. The gross numbers are going to be something that they keep on their desktop. But that's the beauty of our system. You don't have to put. There's no touch screen or interactive stuff. It's not. It's you show what you want on the screen.
Yeah.
And then you have the other aspects as well. So if you want to look at your gross numbers, it's all available on your mobile device. But it's not on the big screen.
Right.
And the big screen dealers have it in different places. And we have one store that has 5 leaderboards in their store.
Really?
So they have one in the general manager's office, one in the sales tower, one in service, one in the tech shop area, and then one in BDC.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, but everyone has something different. So the general manager, he has reports for every department.
Which, if I'm a general manager, I'm going to actually brag to the managers that I'm looking at your numbers in real time all day long.
Updated every 15 minutes.
It's got to change behaviors.
Yeah, and it's live numbers updated every 15 minutes. What we found also is that it keeps people accountable.
Right.
They're able to, the managers are booking deals a little bit quicker. They're the staff is putting, the service staff is putting their ROs and closing them correctly in the system because they want the numbers to change.
And for dealerships that are where you've got multi rooftops, the dealer principal sitting in his or her office, regardless of where they are, can have all those same screens with all the same data.
One above that, we have an enterprise version that a regular sales leaderboard has salesperson versus salesperson, right? Or service advisor versus advisor, or tech versus tech. Well, our enterprise version for sales and fixed ops shows store versus store. So we have some groups that are 5 or more stores. That will go ahead and have store versus store numbers so they know where their group is trending. And then they could actually, let's say they have 3, I don't know this group, but let's say they have 3 Chevy stores and 2 Toyota stores. They could actually make a report for just their Chevy stores and just the Toyota stores and then rotate those so they could see, because sometimes they have platform managers that are specific to a particular brand.
Yeah, and especially if you're a manager and you say, well, our goal is to run $2,500 PVR, in finance at our Toyota stores. You're going to see right now, the one's running $1,500 and the other one's running $2,700. You know what? We got to get the $2,700 guy to talk to the $1,500. But I mean, it just gives you that.
Or just move people around. You realize that some staff may perform better in certain areas, so there could be a staffing issue there as well. But if you're not looking at that on a regular basis, they have all these reports in their CRM or DMS. But if you ever logged into these programs,
it's crazy.
There's so much information there.
It's too much.
Our goal is to simplify this. A couple single clicks, get all the information that you need.
So you're going to be at NADA for dealers that are going out to NADA. You're going to want to put these guys on your short list. These are the solutions that we want to be bringing you here at CBT News. But to me, if you've got one of these systems already, obviously you don't need to go see Todd. But if you don't have one, please go out and see Todd and check this system out. It is incredible. I don't know what you got to write to me or DM me or something and tell me after looking at it why you would not do this. Okay, I'm a car guy. I don't get it. These are the kinds of things that dealers need and managers need to run their dealerships better, more effectively, more profitably, and really to keep everybody on the same sheet of music. The motivator board always was intimidating to me. I never wanted to be on the second half of it. My sales manager brought me in early on when he hired me. There were about 35 guys at this big Toyota store in South Florida. He goes, look, here's the deal. He drew a little line. He goes, never be below this line, right? And I'm like,
and we have page 2 in our system. So it's like there's only so many people fits on a page. No one wants to be on page 2.
That's right.
So at NADA, I'll announce it here. But I will. We are showcasing it at NADA. We're the first KPI leaderboard program to integrate with AI.
Oh wow!
So we partnered with Meta, and we're actually going and using their platform. Huge. And it's all secure. Because Meta is an open source program. We actually worked with some of their engineers to go ahead and create a program. So when you look at the data on there, and you're able to ask AI questions about your data. So we're calling it PULSE AI.
Wow.
And the idea is to question your data. So you could literally say,
so cool.
Who is a top person in this category selling this vehicle over the last year? Like how many? We say Billy before, so we'll use Billy's now. He
Poor
works
Billy.
He works all departments.
Right.
No offense to Billy out there, but how many Honda Accords did Billy sell per month over the last 12 months? and it will actually come up with that answer.
Right. Wow.
So you could question, our little tagline for Pulse AI is question your data.
Nice.
And you could come up, we have a bunch of pre-formatted questions built into the system. Now it's not an open AI, it's like not the company, but it's not an open AI where you could ask it questions or make it draw pictures for you.
Yeah, sure.
But it's an AI that allows you to question your data. So
great.
we have a way for us to go in and with a single click, we have all these questions. We pulled over 100 dealers, got all the questions they would ask about their data, and then you could go on there and actually just type in, or just click the question, and the question's already there, so you don't have to think of the question. Because a lot of people are intimidated by AI because they don't know what to ask, the format, what they're called prompts, and all that type of stuff. So in our system,
that was a good idea.
you go into Pulse AI, it's broken down to categories, sales, fixed, BDC, whatever, and you go ahead and click on it, and it comes up with the answer against your data. It's 100% private. We actually, none of the data is going out to the world. And it's only questioning your data.
That's nice.
And so that's Pulse AI, and we're announcing that. We're going to be demoing that at NADA.
Wow. I would imagine too for finance managers that want to make sure that their PVR is where it should be. You just finished the deal. You want to know how it affected, whether it was a huge 5-pounder or it was just a little deal. But what was that impact that it had in my average PVR for the month?
Exactly.
Right, because if it hit it hard, I know that I've got to really make it up in the next couple of deals.
So we do the dollar per copy on every single one. We break it down, and they could actually log in themselves. There's a mobile access for the finance managers to go ahead and see how they're performing as well. We have sales managers so they can know how their teams are performing. We break it down for every different category in the dealership, and we're constantly adding reports to the system. We're working right now on more desktop reporting, but simple reporting is what we want to keep. So we're allowing dealers not just to we have the screens, we have the mobile, and then now we have the desktop reporting, and then dealers, just because dealers are dealers, they say, can it be printed?
Can it be printed?
So they want to be able to print the report from our system, because the report from their DMS or these other programs that are out there, they're too much information, too hard to read. Ours are very summary oriented. So we said month over month, year over year, at a nice chart.
So if they want to have a quick meeting and pass out the sheets,
you don't have to worry about making all these filters and making it all everything. We're just showing the basic information, but making it nice so they could go ahead and print it out and send it to their team.
And it shows the associate that works for you that you guys are on your game. They might have moved around dealership to dealership or what have you. There's a big turnover in the car business, as we all know. But when you've got something like this, you're telling that employee, wow, these guys are on their game. They know where we are at any particular moment in time during the month financially, and what we sold and what we didn't sell, and appointments met, and all of those KPIs that are so vitally important. It's very impressive to somebody coming in, right?
It is, and we actually have a store that we signed up out in Scottsdale, one of the biggest Mercedes-Benz stores in the country, and they started using our board as interactive as well. So you can put it on a touch screen if you want to, but a lot of dealers are using an inexpensive option like a wireless mouse. And every report is interactive. And you could scroll through the reports manually. So they rotate. So let's say you pick 5 to 10 different reports, and they rotate through based on a timeline that you set up in our system. Well, this dealer is actually going the step further and using it for their sales meetings.
Wow.
And so they pause the presentation, talk about what's on the board, talk about who's on page 2, and say, where are you for your goals? They have a meeting every Saturday morning using our board, standing in front of our board with the whole staff there, and they go ahead and go through the reports, and they go one report at a time, and they go through, manually scroll through each report, looking at their KPIs, looking at their CSI, looking at their goals, and they've seen a huge increase in the attention that the board's getting, and that's increased their sales.
That's perfect.
That's how our system's working really well at a lot of different stores.
Wow, that's just where you want to be. Any final thoughts at all? You're going to be at NADA, right?
We got a big booth at NADA. We took a whole block this year.
Oh wow!
So we have some new displays and new stuff going on.
Wow.
We also do have every year for the last 5 years. I think we've had back massage available as well.
That's right. That's right.
So we have a great crew that's going to be out there.
Good.
We're going to be highly promoting the new Pulse system, and some great new partnerships that we'll be announcing there as well. And we're super excited for NADA this year. Probably more than every year it gets a little bit better, and this year's going to be a big one.
That's awesome. Congratulations on all your success. But selling systems like this, it can't be that hard.
It's all about changing the dealer's mindset. A lot of dealers, as you know, are set in their ways.
Oh my God!
And we have had a wide variety of dealers that I just like handwriting it.
Oh my gosh.
And
time is money, and you just put a pencil to just the hours spent on that, you know?
That's what it is. It's hard. They're set in their ways a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So dealers, go check this out. I personally want to hear back from you if you wouldn't mind. Either A, you bought the system, that's a no-brainer, it needs to be installed immediately and get going on it. But if you didn't, you gotta reach out to me and tell me why you wouldn't go with this deal. It just boggles my mind as to why you have dealers out there with this kind of technology to help you sell and service more vehicles and have a better experience really for your employees, which means so much when it comes to this competitiveness that they've got among your team. They have to know where they stand at any given time, I should say. So please check them out. And Todd, again, thank you so much for coming in. This is great. These are the kind of solutions we want to be bringing. So really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me again, Jim.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks for watching Driving Solutions, exclusively on CPTnews.com.